I guess you could call this part approaching the movie review. Hi again, I'm Ryan, your host for The Toast, and this time we're going to be talking about approaching the unknown. Now, this movie is not a big blockbuster summer release. It is a smaller film, a smaller independent first-time director, first-time writer piece. So this movie stars Mark Strong. We all love Mark Strong, and it's about him being the first person on Mars, or the first person on his way to Mars, at least. He's invented a new method of breaking down soil and recombining the molecules into water so they can survive on Mars now. And of course, he invented it, so he has to be the one to go and use it, as per movie law. Seriously, it's always the way. It's like Bruce Willis has done it, and everyone's done it where they're like, oh, do you know how to use this machine? Oh, of course, I invented it. It's like such a movie trope now of like the inventor of the thing has to go and do the thing. They can't just give it to somebody else who's much more capable at the job to do the thing and just teach them how to use the thing. So, like, keep that in mind when you watch a movie. You'll see it. You'll see it happen all the time. So apart from a brief bit of contact with a NASA guy played by Luke Wilson, this is really a one-man show. You just get to watch Mark Strong contained in a capsule on its way to Mars, goofing off a bit to maintain his sanity. Now the movie starts off almost educationally, like it's trying to teach you the science and tell you what's going on as they go, but they quickly abandon that, especially when it comes to the time delay from Earth and the capsule. I mean, as things get farther away, there's more of time delay with communication. I think we all know that by now. At least that's what we've learned so far from scientifically accurate movies. Anyway, it's not about that. This movie isn't about the science. I mean, it respects the science, but it's not about that. It is solely a character piece. It is an exercise in isolation and loneliness. I have to admit, I've never seen a movie focus on things that aren't necessarily important to your survival to bring with you to another planet, but are important for your sanity. This is a one-way trip, so he's got to bring the sights, the sounds, even the smells of Earth with him. And when you see him genuinely enjoying the sound of a rainforest or the smell of freshly cut grass, yeah, you feel like, wow, that's something I would miss if I was alone on another planet. That didn't even occur to me until this movie. And amongst all this high-tech NASA shit he's bringing with him, he's also got this really old dingy toolbox full of dirty tools. And it really does emphasize the faith in human ingenuity to overcome anything, even in the void of space. Little sentimental pieces like that really did save the film. This is not a big budget movie at all. I mean, the whole thing takes place pretty much inside this capsule, so it's one set with one actor. Not an expensive movie to make. Even when they have to dock with other space stations, they do not show the docking whatsoever. They just kind of cut to already docked. And they don't have a problem with that. I mean, we've seen it a million times before, spaceships docking. Instead, it really does focus on Mark Strong and just character reactions and how they're feeling about being in this horrible isolation. Now, admittedly, this story is pretty straightforward. I mean, I was hoping for some kind of cosmic intervention, but there's no surprises to be had. It's a journey of self-discovery that, granted, stretches from Earth to Mars, but really only takes place in a 10-foot capsule. Speaking of the inside of the capsule, they do a great job of making space colorful and just beautiful compared to inside the capsule, so you almost want him to just go take a walk. And it really gets to Mark Strong's character, too, the beauty of the universe, and yet he's stuck inside this little metal container on its way to Mars. Now, I really do enjoy movies like this. They're kind of like a big science drug trip. I mean, it kind of reminds me of The Fountain. I mean, I don't know why, but the same kind of tone of a film. Except this time dealing with a very lackadaisical NASA. Yeah, you can really tell this movie wasn't written to please science sticklers. It's much more of a psychological character study. But it stars Mark Strong, which is always a pleasure. Watching his character unravel is just enthralling to witness, despite the lack of actual movie around him. That's why I'm going to say this movie is more like garlic toast. It's something tasty and different, but not for everybody, especially if you're not craving it in the first place. You really have to be in the mood for a slow-paced, non-suspenseful time. Anyway, if you want to see more from me, click away, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers! What is it with space and NASA movies where you have plants and like little tiny spray balls and they're just so intricate and they're so into it. I mean, yeah, you want to keep track of water in a spaceship, but anything NASA-y in a movie, it seems like that is the one thing to show to make it look legit.